Smasho here, and welcome to the Daily Space Weather. We've got these massive sunspot groups rising in the northeast. We've got a cosmic ray update for you, some weather forecasts, and lots more coming at you from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. And that's the house favorite wavelength right there, 171 angstroms. The past 24 hours from the SDO, the Solar Dynamics Observatory. Ionized iron is 171 angstroms. One of the many species of ionized iron. Here's ionized helium, 304 angstroms from the same spacecraft. Again, some huge sunspots rotating in here in the northeast. Those are probably the most likely place to see large flares. We've seen fairly low levels of solar activity here over the past 24 hours, interestingly enough. Most of the activity there in the northern hemisphere, as you can see on the colorized magnetogram. That's yesterday plus today, and here's yesterday plus today intensitygram. Look at the size of those sunspots. Yowzers. Those are bigger than the Earth. Also interesting is that this sunspot is right near the equator, even though we are nowhere near solar maximum, much less the end of the solar cycle, which is when most sunspots appear closer to the equator. Let's do volcanoes as we do most days. What's erupting? Well, Shivaluch is. In an explosive fashion, it's producing a 13,000-foot plume of volcanic ash. Also, Subanose Jima. Volcanic ash not identifiable in satellite imagery. Don't assume it's not erupting and decide to pole vault the caldera. If you're visiting a volcano, leave your vault pole at home. Popocatépetl, volcanic ash not detected there either. It could be cloudy in Mexico. We'll show you the likelihood of that later. Fuego in Guatemala, volcanic ash not detected from satellite either. Sangay in Ecuador is exploding, flight level 230. It's a 23,000-foot ash plume. Revenador in Ecuador exploding, flight level 140, 14,000-foot ash plume. And Sabancaya in Peru exploding, flight level 220. It's a 22,000-foot ash plume. I would say that we're having a little bit of an earthquake drought here at the moment, seismically speaking. The number of 7 magnitude earthquakes here kind of low over the past 90 days, only 3 of them. And they're all packed around September 15th. So we are a little bit overdue here for a 7 magnitude quake. Keep in mind, any earthquake can be a foreshock. The last 24 hours have been somewhat quiet, seismically speaking. That's an interesting one right there. 4.8 all the way up in Nunavut, Canada. Kind of far north for an earthquake, especially nowhere near an apparent plate boundary. Largest quakes of the past 24 were only of a 5.0 magnitude. Like that 5.0 in Chile at 14:39 yesterday afternoon. That's 14:39 Universal Time. Also 5.3, I think that was the largest actually, at Fiji at 0 dark 15, quarter after midnight Universal Time. South Sandwich Islands had a 4.9. Philippines had a 5.0. Chile had a 5.0, and Solomon Islands had a 5.3. Let's continue on back to space. So this is one of our composite series of images from SDO. That's 1700 plus 171 angstroms. That is the past 24 hours. Radio flux has actually dropped down to 118 solar flux units, and I am expecting an uptick in the radio flux coming soon, as those sunspots are huge and there are some associated umbrae and possible growth there. We'll take a look at that later in the video. At the moment, there's the 1-year graph for the radio flux. Again, expecting this to come back up above 130 solar flux units. And if you're a new viewer, you're wondering what a solar flux unit is, it is 10,000 joules of radio flux density. Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard here forecasting a little bit of geomagnetic unrest tomorrow. And I think we're still going to see some high-speed coronal hole wind streams here show up, where we haven't really seen a proper increase in the solar wind density, although we are running out of time. So maybe it won't hit. I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on it. But at the moment, we do still have an elevated solar wind speed. That is still a coronal hole high-speed stream. We just never saw the density spike that we typically see from it. Anyway, here's Earth's magnetic moment from space for the past 4 hours. That's magnetohydrodynamic pressure out to about 12 Earth diameters. It's our geospace magnetosphere movie. And let's take a look at Earth's magnetic moment from the ground for the past 4 hours. There may be some aurora showing up, but hey, who knows? Because my Twitter feed is full of nonsense and crap. A bunch of political posts and a bunch of economics hacks, for example, showing up in my Twitter feed constantly, as opposed to the things I want to see, like people's auroral imagery. Anyway, that's the last 4 hours of Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. Planetary K-index here, around 2. 2.33 is the planetary K-index, a measurement of global geomagnetism. And let's take a look at the real-time, let's take a look at the real-time solar wind. So here is that. Just dropping below 500 kilometers per second here. Current conditions are 499 kilometers per second for the velocity. Solar wind density, 8.2 protons per cubic centimeter. The rest of those panes are fairly uninteresting. GOES magnetometer here. That's the GOES 16 and GOES 17's magnetometers over the past 3 days. Nothing to write home about there. Earth has recently moved into a South Pole current sheet. As you can see here, shown in red, there is your South Pole current sheet. Here's your North Pole current sheet rotating out to the west. Let's take a look at the line of sight plot. Oh, I would also note one thing. Take a look at the North Solar Polar Field. We can see some South Pole magnetism mixing in there, an indication that the North Solar Polar Field is leaving the North Heliographic Pole. It's taken its good old time, though, as Solar Cycle 25 features the South Pole ahead of the North Pole. It left the South Solar Heliographic Pole a long, long time ago, like a year ago. And here's our line of sight plot. Sun's B field shown here in blue, North Solar Polar Field in green, South Solar Polar Field in red. What evil lurks in the depths of coronal holes? Well, streams of high-speed protons lurk in the depths of coronal holes, as stellar low-pressure systems are so low that they blast diffuse gas out into the greater solar system. Yes. And that is the solar polar field reversal process you're watching happening daily on the channel. And by the way, thanks for stargazing with us. Keep in mind that data's 2 hours old when we made the video. We've got South Pole-oriented coronal holes rotating in here. And SDO 211 angstroms is a great wavelength through which to view coronal holes. There you have the picture of that. These are North Pole, by the way. North Pole, that's North Pole. This is South Pole. And let's continue on to sunspots. We have a cosmic ray update coming up as well. All right, so there we go. Lots of named groups here. Almost all of them in the Northern Hemisphere. We just had 3141 named, and it is definitely worthy. It is Beta Gamma class. 3140 also Beta Gamma class. And let's take a look at some composite imagery here and some close-ups. There's 171 angstroms plus continuum. There's a little closer view as we bring you the most detailed imagery of the closest star and most comprehensive space weather. known to man in the known universe. Here's a close-up in magnetogram from SDO. Those sunspots be a kind of big. There's the SDO continuum. At least 3 umbrae there larger than the Earth. As magnetic fields sweep plasma to the side, exposing the solar photosphere. Why are sunspots dark? I only know of one person ever writing a paper with a plausible explanation of this. Do you know what I'm talking about? Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments if you have a plausible theory as to why sunspots are dark. Let me give you a hint. Many of us believe it's because they are flat. Yes, flat. Which is an important distinction to understand. Anyway, there is the last 24 hours in 171 plus SDO continuum. And let's move on to energetic particles. No energetic particles showing up as measured by the GO16 here. The proton flux remains flatlined. And let's talk about energetic particles making it down to the ground level. So there is the DOMB Antarctica Cosmic Ray Monitor. And you can see a minor uptick still continuing at DOMB Antarctica. That's the 30-day graph right there. Uptick at DOMB Antarctica. DOMC Antarctica also showing an uptick. A little bit less significant, but an uptick nonetheless. Going way up north to the land of Oulu, we see a flat cosmic ray profile. Maybe a tiny uptick, but mostly flat there over the past 30 days at Oulu, Finland. Let's go way down south to the land of Mexico City. Mexico City showing a slight uptick there at Mexico City. Almost flat, a small uptick. Let's go farther north to Greece. Greece showing a significant uptick for the past 30 days. And let's go back up north to Apatity and Barentsburg. So Apatity there is looking flat over the past 30 days. Maybe a tiny uptick. That's Apatity. And here's Barentsburg. Barentsburg, a definite downtick at Barentsburg for the past 30 days. So most of the cosmic ray monitors here are showing a small uptick in cosmic ray flux. And let's continue on to X-rays. So X-rays there, these are photons. Remember, folks, don't get solar flares and coronal mass ejections confused. They are separate phenomenon. Solar flares are photons. Coronal mass ejections are protons. We can expect to see the X-ray flux rise here. Maybe not with flaring. I mean, although flares are more likely with a bunch of large sunspots near the limb. I expect the overall X-ray profile here to rise into the C-class level. Here's the last 24 from 94 angstroms. And here's what's going on above our head in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. We like to use in-the-sky.org for our star charts. If you've got clear skies and you're up before dawn, you might see Mars and Betelgeuse, 2 bright red objects pretty close by in the sky. And if you're wondering what chart that is the all-sky chart, again from in-the-sky.org. It's got all kinds of great features there. You can animate that. We've drawn in the ecliptic, the galactic plane, and shaded the galaxy. Here's our solar system forecast as Mercury and Venus swing around the far side. We're approaching a full moon. There's where things will be in 7 days on November 12th. Next, looking at some coronagraphs, and we've got some CMEs. Are they earthly directed? Well, we'll let you know here in a moment. So that's yesterday, 93 frames worth of CME goodness. And here's today, 39 more frames of CME goodness from George Mason University. Let's take a look at stereo A to verify the trajectory. So stereo A located here at Lagrange 5. showing us that, well, those CMEs just aren't earthly directed. They're on the far side or coming out of the south polar region. Not earthly directed. We'll let it play through. And then we'll show some 24-hour videos in composite. On the right there, by the way, you're looking at Venus and Mercury. Here are our 24-hour composites featuring Mercury coming into frame there right at the end. Here's a zoom out. Great light show there from some CMEs that are nowhere near earthly directed. Now, the likelihood of Earth vicinity CMEs remains nearly 100%. Look at all the filaments we've got there. I mean, dozens of filaments here on the earthly side of the solar disk. We've got more than we did yesterday. So don't be surprised to see some of those ejecting. We've got a very bumpy corona in between the Earth and Sun at the moment. All those dark absorption features, those are solar filaments. Next, the last about 2.5 hours from the GOES 16 SUVI with its great wide field of view. It's great for viewing coronal mass ejections as they happen. And we stream it regularly on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/smashomash. And let's move into bonus features. So we've got some major charging hazards here, some significant internal charging occurring over the Indian Ocean, Africa, and Oceania, also the Western Pacific. Some more minor charging hazards happening here on the surfaces. We've got internal and surface charging hazards here at the moment. It's a bit dicey out there for satellites. There is the electron flux. Seeing a sudden increase there in the electron flux despite it being midnight local time for the GOES 17. Check that out. Midnight local time, that's what this M refers to. That's midnight local time for the GOES 17. So surprisingly high levels of electron flux here, and really surprisingly diffuse leading edge of this coronal hole high-speed stream. Anyway, that's the electron flux for the past 3 days. Kind of high, a little bit higher than we expected. We expected this to dip, but it never did. So NOAA was right on this one. There is the forecast model for relativistic electrons. The green boxes are the forecast. The yellow diamonds are the observation. There's the one-year graph to put it in context. Kind of high levels here at the moment. And let's take a look at the F ionosphere layer, which is showing some significant low-frequency anomalies. So that's the vibrational frequency at about 300 kilometers of altitude. The F layer of the ionosphere is in many ways the bridge between Earth and space. And look at all the red on the map here. Lots of low-frequency anomalies showing up there. Around the poles, all around the world. Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean. Major low-frequency anomalies. That's anomaly in megahertz from the 30-day median. And there's the latest image, 10:15 Universal Time. Ionogram, 10:30 Universal Time. Anomalygram. Next, we'll show the total electron content over the U.S. Here we go. There is the total electron content, the raw data. That's literally the electron count between your GPS satellite and your GPS handset. Those are the electrons from ground level up to about 12,500 miles of altitude. Here is the standard deviation. And here is the anomaly. Let's move on to our latest solar intensitygram and colorized magnetogram to especially take a look at these sunspot groups. They are quite impressive indeed. There are the fields. And this one's actually beta gamma class at the moment. Beta gamma delta class. Oops. There we go. We've got two main fields. Those are mostly North Pole oriented umbrae, but there are some mixed in South Pole umbrae there. This one up here is alpha class. So that's 3140, I think. 3141, much more likely to produce large flares. And it, of course, has been producing more flaring. Not surprising there to our regular space weather enthusiasts. Here's the rockback. And how about one more series of images from the SDO before we move to meteorology and cover some snow. That is yesterday plus today in 3 species of ionized iron. And before we move into the realm of meteorology, let's pause for station identification. Thanks for tuning in to the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists, despite the pathetic, putrid, and disgusting censorship by Big Tech, as they attempt to destroy the internet and information itself, and instead destroy themselves. You can't break the internet, Big Tech. However, the internet can break you. How's that working out? Have you checked your stock prices lately? It's pretty pathetic. Anyway, if you don't have a Twitter account, we're asking you to create a Twitter account. Please create a Twitter account. Yes, Elon Musk has not fixed censorship. In fact, let me give a quote. This is a retweet. So check this out. Nothing has changed with content moderation. Censorship on Twitter is just as pathetic as it was in 2021, so could all of you ignoramuses STFU about Elon, quote, fixing, end quote, Twitter, and, quote, restoring, end quote, free speech. Fun fact, Twitter is junkware. But that's no reason to not have an account. Get an account anyway, because you'll see some information nobody else gets to see on our Twitter page. You can find links to it on our homepage at smashomash.com. And welcome to the Neo Renaissance. Congratulations once again on realizing that the channel exists. It's only the most detailed imagery of the sun and most comprehensive space weather you'll find anywhere, and it's devoid of propaganda, disinformation, fraud, grifting, and nonsense. You can find all kinds of links there, like the link to SureMed, for example, which is the American Better Health Organization focused on improving the health of its members. It's not insurance, it's a nonprofit. You can save on doctors by phone, counselors by phone, dental discounts, vision discounts, even virtual veterinarians. Is your pet sick? Join SureMed and reach a virtual veterinarian instead of going to a physical one, if possible. SureMed. I'm a member. Why aren't you? You can also find links to that on the smashomash.com/smash team homepage. And if you want to see our latest post, just click on posts. Make sure you're logged in, thanks to our gold and silver Smash Team level members. Join at the bronze level if you're unable or unwilling to open your cobweb-encrusted wallet and send us a few bucks per month. The best value is the gold annual paid-up subscription. Once again, thanks to our Smash Team members. If you want to support the channel via subscription services, do it at smashomash.com/smashteam. We replaced Patreon with a superior site, although we still are on Patreon, thanks to our patrons. You can also find links to the Hemp Lucid shop right there, our latest affiliate/sponsor, Hemp Lucid. 40% site-wide sale has already begun, so why not pick up some gifts via our link? Get some Christmas shopping done early. Get it out of the way now. And send your friends and foes some great Christmas presents in the form of perhaps the water-soluble CBD tincture, or what about maybe some lip balm? All kinds of features there on the Hemp Lucid shop. So why not shop via our link? There's what the experts say. And let's continue on. If you haven't seen our merch shop, the links below the video as well as on the homepage will direct you to the merch shop in order of best selling. Now, you may see a bunch of nonsense on places like Twitter and YouTube and Facebook. There's definitely a pile of crap on there. Today's featured product is Mansa, Make America Not Suck Again. I mean, that's not a political slogan. That's basically saying it is up to you to make America not suck again. So do your part, whatever that might be. It's up to you, not giant bureaucracies that can't even get out of their own way or do their own jobs effectively. It's up to people like you to think global and act local and make America not suck again. Because America leads the way. So a lot of people might think that the U.S. is collapsing and, oh no, the U.S., it's going down the drain. Well, guess what? It's still a vastly superior place for your investments. Because if you're worried about the collapse of the U.S. dollar, have you seen other fiat currencies? They're much more heavily inflated. Where are you going to hide? You're going to hide in the euro, the yen, the yuan? I mean, what a joke. The U.S. dollar remains the superior fiat currency, and the U.S. remains the top economic powerhouse, the best place to invest, so make it not suck again. If you've noticed it's been sucking, make sure that you expect accountability, demand accountability for those who've been making it suck. Speaking of sucking, let's talk about our BitShoot comments. There are some idiotic ones that you may see on BitShoot. We do post most of our videos onto BitShoot, at least lately, because we've got some reduced output since I'm working like 60 hours a week. And let's take a look at some of the comments and responses on BitShoot. So for your viewing amusement here, and thanks for leaving comments here, BMVR13. Here's some comments. All right, let's see what we got here. So these comments are from Snoxy, as we got a lot of flat Earth type people here on BitShoot for some reason. Let's see, what do we got? Snoxy says, NASA CGI sun, what a load of shite, and people believe this? So I say, great argument, pardon the sarcasm. You can look at it with a relatively inexpensive telescope and solar filter. You don't. Is that because you are a moron or just an ignorant douche cake? Snoxy, moron, dear me. Is that it? Gotta look at some independent folk who send balloons up there, not your NASA, SpaceX sending cars up there. Ha ha, your mainstream BS falls apart. So sad you can't even explain the seasons nor day-night transitions with a plausible single theory. Get a clue. Humans have known for thousands of years the Earth is spherical. Even Ptolemy believed that. Lol, noob. Anyway, you may be amused by the BitShoot comments. You may be amused by the pathetic censorship on YouTube. We're not amused by the pathetic censorship on Facebook, on Twitter, or on YouTube. We're actually quite offended by it, and it's pretty hard to offend me. But the pathetic censorship on the internet, it's got to end. Centralization is dead, and big tech should probably stop self-destructing, do their own job, and fix their junkware. Press like, press subscribe, press share. Tell your friends and foes about the channel. Leave us a comment. Even a derogatory one is always met with amusement. So thanks to everybody who's viewed the videos throughout the last pushing 6 years as we put out the most detailed space weather imagery in the world. Now moving to meteorology, we're looking at the total cloud water of the Southern Ocean, actually. And check it out, folks. Oh my God, look at this. Oh my God. There are a series of 5 low pressure systems around the Southern Ocean. And you know what that means? That means that Wiccans are controlling the weather, obviously. Obviously, Wiccans are controlling the weather, probably through a combination of directed energy weapons, HARP, and chemtrails. Pardon my sarcasm. Here's the total cloud water of the rest of the planet. Here's the North Polar region. So there must be some kind of a Wiccan summer camp going on, or a spring camp. It's a Wiccan spring camp in Antarctica. That's what must be happening. That is a logical explanation, isn't it? All right, so here are the wind maps. Those are the surface winds of the eastern world. Here are the jet streams of the east. Shout out to our viewers from all around the planet. Here are the jet streams of the western world. Shout out to our viewers from the Americas. Here are the surface winds, like sands through the hourglass of time. These are the surface winds of our lives. And these are the surface winds of the central world. That is Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. We've got a strong low here centered on Italy. Check it out. You can see a counterclockwise rotation happening there in the central Mediterranean. Here are the jet streams. And let's move on to some forecasts. First, the 3.9 nanometer radiation satellite, part of the NASA GOES Interactive Weather Satellite Suite. That's what's going on over the Americas. It's clouds and fog when it's too dark to use the visible. Huge bank of clouds there stretching from Louisiana all the way to Lake Huron. Here's your weather.gov map, weather.gov. If your county's lit, click your county. We've got all kinds of weather warnings there in the northwest, including flooding and snow, and wet water falling from the sky. Again, if your county's lit, click your county at weather.gov. Let's bring up some forecasts here for the rest of the snow here. This is the GFS model for the next 72 hours for total accumulated positive snow depth change. That's the GFS model for the next 72 hours for accumulated snow in inches. And you're talking about 3 feet of snow in portions of Washington there. Check it out. Yowzers. Over 2 feet of snow forecasted by the GFS model there for large portions of Washington. It is a winter wonderland. Also California here expecting 3 feet of snow. Look at that. Yowzers. 3 or 4 feet of snow in some portions of California forecasted there by the GFS model. And let's move to the regular pressure and precipitation forecast. This is also the GFS model. That's the next 72 hours of pressure and precipitation. A lot of blue in the northwest. Dag. Also some strong storms here moving across the southern portion of the U.S., moving down toward the Gulf Coast. Here's your snow forecast based on the European model. And the European model expecting a little bit less snow for California and quite a bit of snow there, over 4 feet. Should be on the ground around 4 feet at least. Yep, over 4 feet there forecasted by the Euro model for portions of Washington. 51.2 inches there showing up on the European model. Check out the heavy lightning we had in the past about 10 hours. Heavy lightning there from the Gulf Coast up into southern Illinois, moving into Indiana and Ohio as we speak. Let's take a look at a real-time lightning map to see where the current lightning strikes are occurring. Jackson, Mississippi. There's a storm a-brewing to your west. There's some thunder rolling in on the banks of the Great Mississippi. Hopefully it will have water in it. Anyway, there's the zoom out. That is lightningmaps.org. Check it out next time you hear thunder. Convince the natives that you're Zeus by forecasting thunder. Next, closing things out with some U.S. Doppler radar maps. And thanks for the additional comments, BMVR13. We're going to focus on the lower 48. See those strong storms there moving kind of slowly. Looks like they are on their way northeast. And there is the 3.9 nanometer radiation, the clouds and fog map. Clouds and fog. How about water vapor? That should clear things up. We've got this impulse. This is a high pressure zone right here. And that is pushing that moisture, as well as creating huge pressure gradients over places like Louisiana, etc. Here's your recap. We don't want the video to be too long, so let's close this thing out. There is the U.S. Doppler radar. Lots of moisture here at the moment. There is clouds and fog. And there is the water vapor. When your Doppler is not giving you the full picture, break out the water vapor map. It will help you out. And we appreciate your viewership. So thanks for tuning into the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, signing off. And may that solar wind be at your back. Opinions expressed in this video, not necessarily the opinions of Smash News Network, least busted name in news.